Hi everyone, welcome to Girl in the Green Wellies. It's a gorgeous day outside, so we've decided to have an impromptu barbecue. So Andy's in control of the barbecue itself, as men are, but rather than buying bread buns, I've decided to make my own. It's really easy and really quick to do, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So you only need a few ingredients to make really soft, delicious burger buns. So I'm going to run through the ingredients with you now. For a full description of the recipe, check out the description below. So we've got bread flour, we have unsalted butter, we've got caster sugar. I'm using golden, but plain will work fine. 1 egg, a sachet of yeast, sea salt, full fat milk, and water. So the bread buns are going to be slightly enriched, kind of like a brioche but not as sweet. So the first thing we need to do is melt the butter with the milk and the water in a pan. Once that's all mixed together and melted down, we're going to let that cool just so it's warm, so it's not too hot to touch. While that's melting, all I'm going to do is to the flour, I'm going to add the salt and the yeast. So in the jug here, I've mixed together the milk and the water, and we're going to pop that into the pan now to start gently warming through. We're just going to keep it on a low heat. Great. Now let's add the butter to that mixture, and again that can melt through in the pan as well. Now that's melting through on a low heat. We want to make sure that we don't let that mixture boil. It's only warm enough just to melt the butter and the milk together. Now that's melted through, we'll leave that to cool. In the bowl we've got the flour, yeast, salt and sugar, and to that we're going to add the egg. So to do that, we're going to beat it in a bowl lightly so that it's nice and fluffy. Once that's done, we're going to add it to the bowl with the cooled milk mixture. All the dry ingredients are ready here in the bowl. And now that the butter and the milk mixture is cooled enough, we're going to add that to the bowl. So let's just get that and tip it into the bowl carefully. Now that the liquid's all into the dry ingredients, we're just going to get our hands in there and start mixing. Now it will be a really wet dough, so if you do have a stand mixer, feel free to use it, but not everyone has one. So like me, if you don't have one, all you need to do is just get your hands in there and start mixing that water, milk, and melted butter into the flour. Once that starts to bind together, add the egg. We're going to add the egg all in one go, straight in there. Now you will notice it will become very wet and very claggy. Don't worry, just keep on mixing and mixing and mixing until all the flour is absorbed and you have a really wet, sticky dough. All the ingredients are mixed together, and as you can see, it is very, very soft, very stretchy and very wet. We're going to do our best to get as much of the dough out onto the bench now to start working it. So let's tip that out and we'll scrape all the dough from inside the bowl. Everything at this point is going to be telling you that you need to add more flour to the bench. Don't. The flour that you've got in that mixture will be enough to make really delicious light brioche buns. Let's start working the dough. All we need to do is start stretching and folding. So push the dough out and scrape as much of that dough back towards you as you can. You can use your fingers, or if you have one, you can use a dough scraper. In the beginning, I prefer just to use my hands and start working that through. Keep on turning, stretching and folding it back, and eventually it will start to form a really nice, smooth and elastic piece of dough. After 7 or 8 minutes of kneading, you will have a soft and smooth piece of dough. We're going to change the kneading method now to a slap and fold. So using your fingers, we're going to lift the dough up and fold it over. This is a great method for softer and stickier doughs. So let's look at it again. We're going to pick the dough up with our fingers, slap it down and fold the dough over. Once the dough is smooth and elastic, we're ready to shape it into a ball to prove. If you've got a dough scraper, you can use this in a half circle motion to shape and tighten the dough. Once you've got it shaped, use the dough scraper to lift it and pop it into a bowl. Once it's in the bowl, we're going to leave it to prove for 45 minutes to an hour. The dough's been rising now for about 50 minutes and we can see it's ready to go. So we're going to lift the cling film off the top very gently, and then we're going to start making the buns. Now to do that, we are going to add just a little bit of flour to the bench. So let's move the bowl just out of the way for a second and put a light dusting of flour onto the bench. Now very gently, we're going to tip the dough out onto the bench just using our hands. Scraping along the side again, getting as much of the dough out and onto the bench. I'm just going to pop a little bit of flour onto the dough and onto my hands to make sure nothing sticks, and we're going to make this into a log shape and start dividing it up. I find that it is easier just to roll it up into a log and just do this by sight. You could weigh out each portion to make sure that each bun is the same size, but I like the rustic homemade look. So all I'm going to do is use my dough scraper and cut that log in half. And just by sight, we're just going to continue dividing the dough until we've got 8 good sized portions. Now we're ready to start shaping the buns. So adding a little bit more flour to the bench, I'm going to get my first portion on the go and press that out. Using my fingers, I'm going to pull away from me and fold back into the centre of the bun and turn. And I'm going to continue doing that around that bun to form a really nice tight ball shape. Once you're happy that you've got the bun shaped how you want it, turn it over using the outside edges of your hand, just nip the underneath together and you're done. Pop that onto the tray and you're ready to move on to the next one. Using exactly the same method, press the dough out. Once you've got your dough ready, pull away from you and fold in. And again, continue doing that all the way around this bun until you've got the shape that you want and it's formed a nice tight shape. So let's have a look. Out and in. The dough will stick in the middle, like that. So just continue moving around the bun, going from the outside and folding in. Using exactly the same method as we've done before, we're going to continue to shape the bun using the outside of our hands, just nipping underneath to make sure that that bun is nice and tight. Continue to do that for the remaining pieces of dough and pop them on your tray. So there's our 8 buns, all shaped and having their last proof. These are going to sit on the tray now for about 20 minutes. They're going to get big and billowy, and then once they have risen, they're going to go into the oven 200 degrees centigrade for about 15 to 20 minutes. So there we are, fresh out the oven, our nice delicious burger buns are ready. We've got all the meat prepared, we've got the potatoes from the allotment cooking in the pot as well. Let's get into the bread buns and see how squishy they are. Oh wow, let's just use this little one. Look at how soft they are. Let's rip one open. Now really, we should leave them to cool properly, but I can't wait that long. So let's have a little look and see. Oh yeah, look at that. Soft and delicious. Perfect for bread buns. There we are, soft and delicious bread buns, fresh out the oven, perfect for a summer barbecue. Don't forget, if you like these videos, give us a big thumbs up, subscribe on the link below, check out the description for the full recipe as well. Thanks very much and we'll see you next time.